we live in an anti-Catholic society? The short answer, yes. To be fair, there are two different ways of looking at anti-Catholicism. The first is the hate of Catholics, such as many dictatorships and other harsh governments, past and present, who have persecuted the Church. These people are anti-Catholic because they actively inflict harm on Christ's Church. The most recent example of this was the shooting that took place at the Catholic school in Minneapolis. This was an example of someone who had a deep hate for the Catholic Church. Someone who was raised Catholic and had certainly had some mental issues, as they well planned out their plans for the shooting and even had said similar in their notes, as well as having in the same notes a drawing of them talking with the devil. The second is those who try and reprove the Catholic Church, who dislike or hate the Church or even misrepresent it, and preach lies against the Church. Many such groups exist on Facebook, groups that call the Church the Antichrist or other such lies and things. These people are often known as anti-Catholics. These are two types of anti-Catholicism, but that is not what I am talking about here. Rather, we are talking about those who are antithetical or directly opposed to Catholic teaching or Christian values. So this video is not just about anti-Catholicism, but also about those who go against Christian values. So do we live in a world that goes against Catholic, Christian, or Christian values? And the answer to that, in short, is yes. So I'll give an explanation to this. So I think there are several issues upon which most people know there are things that our society sees as normal and acceptable, but the Church is diametrically opposed to. Issues like abortion, homosexuality, and divorce, just to name a few. Previously, I have talked a little bit about homosexuality, pride masses, and Father James Martin. And one of the problems with living in a society that is against what you believe is that there is often an attempt to infiltrate the Church. For example, during the time of communism and the communist Russia and the USSR, the communists attempted to infiltrate the Church, and this has been documented by many sources. And we can see that today with things like homosexuality and abortion, like Catholics for Choice and LGBT Catholics and pride messes, so on and so forth. But it is well documented that we also live in a very over-sexualized world. There was recently a video online uploaded by Lila Rose, where she and a guest of hers were talking about Father Mike Schmitz. And I was unable to find this video on Twitter, where I originally saw it, and I would have saved this here, but I was unable to find it. But they were talking about how this friend of Lila's, who Lila showed the video to, when she showed her the video of Father Mike, she commented that he was very attractive. And this sparked a discussion about priests and how they are able to refrain from marriage, and part of this is how our world views sex. I don't remember the exact video and all, but I forgot, I'm unable to show it here. And similarly, when talking about sex and its view in the modern world, Catholic Answers apologist and author Joe Heschmeyer recently made a video about how sex has become nothing more than a handshake. And another Catholic apologist online talked about how sex cannot be considered in such a way because of the commitment involved in sex, the giving of each other, and how sex often ruins friendships. How many times have you seen such stories presented in movies or TV shows? It is not as if this is foreign or heard of in our actual world. So this is part of what I wanted to talk about. This is not the main point of this video. Things like this can be discussed at length. However, I also feel that there is very much going to be an American-centric, or at least English-centric video, especially in regards to TV and music. That being said, the US is especially a Protestant-based society, built upon Puritans and Pilgrims and other Protestant ideas, whereas Canada as well and Britain are also Protestant-based countries, although Canada is a little bit more Catholic. Whereas a lot more European countries, and I know much of French culture, that in France it is a very Catholic country, that they have holidays and other such things that find their roots in Catholic tradition and the Catholic faith, which is not as present in America. As a side note, America has an interesting spiritual identity with the Great Awakenings, two of them happening. The first happened before the Revolutionary War and was a revival of Puritan vigor. Besides this was the Second Great Awakening, which is way more interesting. The Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, and other groups all founded around this time. I find it to be a real interesting part of history, especially in American history. Besides this, I feel that in America and worldwide, we are kind of in a third great awakening, a third era of renewal of faithfulness and religiosity, especially within Christianity and Catholicism. This is, of course, just my opinion. But what really makes me look that we are in an anti-Catholic society is, of course, the LGBT ideology. We live in a world that teaches that LGBT ideology is alright and does not bat an eye. The thing is that in the world, in movies, TV, and books, even if they're not centered on LGBT ideology, with LGBT characters and more, often looks at LGBT things in a passive way. That does not mean that everything has to be anti-LGBT or such. Many movies don't include characters, but it is those that do have characters with homosexual or transgender orientations that include them or other LGBT trappings that passively make it seem as if these things are just a normal and unquestioning thing in society. And this is present in many movies or TV shows that simply these characters are side things. They are not the main attraction of the movie or show or book, but they are included passively, like a show that treats having two dads or two moms, a character that has two dads or two moms, or other such things as normal, as a part of society, unquestioningly. The simple passiveness that treats these things to be societally normal is in and of itself a support of LGBT ideology. But it is more when such things are placed is at the forefront. For example, even in kids shows. For example, Arthur, a show that has been on since the 90s. My mom, when she first started teaching, used to watch the show when she came home. And before the show was finally finished, the teacher of the show was married to another man. This is not merely a passive support of LGBT ideology, as we discussed before, but a full look at it as if it were normal, a support of it. As a side note, Digital Comical mentions this in one of his videos making fun of Most Holy Family Monastery, where he looks at the many ways that Hollywood or the entertainment industry is the Antichrist. And I'll leave a link down in the description or in the cards on YouTube. Arthur is an example of a kids show that not only treats LGBT ideology and so-called same-sex marriage as in the forefront in the show, and also a societal norm, but something to be celebrated. As a note, I don't want people to think that I dislike the people who belong to these ideologies. We are called to love one another, but we are also called to correct our brothers and sisters when they are in error. Our Lord practiced love for sinners, but also called them further. He healed the sick and called them further. He did not hang out with the sick, he healed them and made them healthy. He came to call the sinners and not the upright. In the way that I will correct others because of their error, if I ever make an error, like saying that Fatima is in Spain rather than Portugal, I would want others to correct me. Granted, this is not a perfect example, but I think you get what I mean. So there are two things that I saw, actually three, that really prompted me to make this video. The first was a movie over the weekend we saw, Freaky Friday, that my mom really wanted to watch. Not long ago, we rewatched the original movie, which is a pretty good movie. Same with the new one. It is a lesson in empathy, in living in someone else's shoes, in a more literal way. And it is based on a book as well, the original, that is. There are two things. The first is in the high school. They have a rainbow flag flying in the background. I know this is nitpicking, and, but it is a show that this is something normal in society, to be praised and included. The other is one of the songs in the beginning. I'm not saying the placing of the song in this movie is bad, but rather prompts me to talk about this song, at least the musician who is so popular in our modern society. Now, there are two songs that actually made me think of this. The first is a popular song by a pop singer who claims herself to be a part of the LGBT community. I won't name names, but I'm sure many of you might know. One of her songs is based, in fact, entirely after a strip club. It's named after it, too. And the song details about this club. This was not the song in the movie, but it was one of her songs. And I know this fact because it's not as if her fans don't know this. People who listen to her music, as my sister points out, every time the singer or song is mentioned. And the next thing is something I saw on Instagram, which was a video uploaded by a page called Gays Against Groomers, which says, and I'll show you the video too, Sabrina Carpenter has gone fully woke. The ex-Disney star's new video pushes drag culture on her young fans, grinding with transvestites and fishnets while singing about her vagina.
I can for you. initiative can go a very long, long way. Baby, just do the dishes, I'll give you what you want. A little communication, yes, that's my ideal foreplay. Assemble a chair from IKEA, I'm like, I bet the thought of you being a responsible guy, treating me like you're supposed to do. Tears run down both thighs. A little respect for women can get you.
I was originally going to have an AI voice, or like an AI version of a Catholic apologist from online. Any of them would have worked. But I will just read it here. I feel that this will be the one reason that I will be rejected from entering any place of work within the church now. The song in question is called Tears, and for the sake of this video, I read the lyrics, and not even one line into the song, oh boy, the chorus is interesting. It should be said that there are many songs that have been written with hidden meaning in them, even sexual meaning to them, but the chorus of this song alone, wow. I don't feel I could read it, it's just not appropriate for this video. I don't know what the worst thing I have heard on the Council of Trent has been, and he said some pretty interesting things on his channel in some of his more recent videos. So I won't read it. If you want to read it for yourself, go ahead. But the summary given before tells you just what you need to know about this song. I included the clip from the Instagram post, but I'm not sure how much of the song is there or what exactly is sung. And by the way, I saw this morning on Facebook. It was some stand-up comedian talking.
And the one that really killed me was we canceled a song that was written in the 1940s called Baby It's Cold Outside. At Christmas. There were radio stations across the country that wouldn't play the song because some people found the lyrics rapey and filled with toxic masculinity, which is fine if you feel that way. You're entitled to feel that way. But the exact same time that they canceled that, and you can Google this, I'm not making this up, the #1 song in our nation for over 2 months was entitled Wet Ass Pussy. I am not making that up. You can look it up. They performed it on the Grammys. It also won the People's Choice Award and the American Music Award for Best Hip Hop Song. So, to close out my show, I would like to compare and contrast the lyrics of these two songs to just see if indeed our nation has lost its mind. Let's start with the horribly offensive Christmas song written just after World War II. I really can't stay, baby, it's cold outside. I gotta go away, baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been so very nice. Yeah, you f***ing with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Beat it up, N-word, extra large, extra hard. Put this pussy right in your face, swipe your nose like a credit card. My mother will start to worry. Beautiful, what's your hurry? My father will be pacing the floor, listen to the fireplace roar, well maybe just half a drink more. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes, this pussy is wet, come take a dive. Talk your shit, bite your lip, ask for a car while you ride that dick. My sister will be suspicious. Gosh, your lips look delicious. My brother will be there at the door, waves on a tropical shore. Well, maybe just a cigarette more. I don't want to spit, I want to gulp. I want to gag, I want to choke. I want you to touch that little dangly thing that's swinging the back of my throat. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that our nation has indeed lost its fucking mind. I'm Tom Cotter. Enjoy the rest of the night. Thanks.
And he was talking about how they canceled this song about the Baby It's Cold Outside, that song, because it's too quote-unquote rapey is the word he used. I don't think that's an actual word, but whatever, we'll go with it. And then he compared it to a song that was top of the chart at the time that the big band was going on. And the song that was going on with the big band, yeah, that was not very good. The stuff that's in modern songs, especially modern rap and other, the lyrics are quite questionable in them. Anyways, back to the video. Well, the song's lyric speaks of a pretty straight relationship, obviously between a man and a woman, though in a way that is completely inappropriate, if not pornographic. The video itself shows her dancing with men cross-dressing, or transgender men, where she does sexually provocative motions while being dressed practically nude. Now, I grew up with Disney, and Sabrina Carpenter was one of the actresses in Disney movies and shows that I watched. In fact, one of my favorite Disney movies when I was a kid was the remake of Adventures in Babysitting. In fact, I have the DVD around here somewhere, and I used to watch this all the time when I was young. We also watched the show Girl Meets World, which she starred in. In fact, currently I am watching Boy Meets World, and the second show will be next. The final thing was something that my mom showed me and I saw before online. One of the actresses from Young Sheldon, the actress for the sister, recently published a book which is about a same-sex couple. The two women, I believe it is. I checked it. The title is Rules for Fake Girlfriends, which is obvious by the cover that it's a book about a same-sex couple, showing two girls, two hands holding with painted nails. So here's the summary from Amazon. An Suni young adult rom-com debut from Reagan Reward, star of the CBS hit series Young Sheldon, about a young college student as she navigates her first year abroad, first love, first loss, and finding her place in the world. Rom-com obsessed but perpetually single, Avery Blackwell abandons her plans to attend Columbia in favor of spending her freshman year at her recently deceased mother's alma mater in a seaside town in England. On the train, Avery makes a deal straight out of one of her beloved romance books with a charming local girl named Charlie. If Avery will pretend to be her girlfriend to make her ex jealous, Charlie will help Avery solve the scavenger hunt her artistic, free-spirited mother left behind on campus decades ago. As their quest takes them all over Brighton, Avery finally starts to connect with the mother she always loved but never really understood. Before long, pretending to be Charlie's girlfriend starts to feel more than just an illusion. But when long-hidden secrets come to light, Avery grapples with an uncertain future and whether or not love is worth the risk. That was at least a little more mild than some of the things I read today in this video. She previously, and probably still does, host something like a book club, and many of the books she looked at were at LGBT books. I've seen it before on social media. I will give credit where credit is due. At least we have someone in Gen Z who's more interested in reading books and writing books, physical books, rather than watching or making YouTube videos or podcasts or other things, or spending all day scrolling through TikTok. So I guess if you are Gen Z, or even just someone who spends a lot of time online, go read a book. A good old-fashioned book. Get off that TikTok. So what's the point? Jesus said to live in the world, but not to be of it. Therefore, there is to be a certain level of which we need to live in the world. In the Old Testament, it says to the people in exile to make roots in the place they are, make gardens, build homes, and make friends. This is the lesson for us. Even though we live in a transitory world, we are called to still live in it. And more than that, we are called to share Christ's message unto all the world. In many ways, this is just a brief look at a lot of these issues, but most especially, I wanted to draw your attention to some of the things that are going on in our culture. I think it is important to talk about and discuss these issues and how they relate to our church. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Doing so helps us to spread this Catholic and Christian message to all. Please also consider supporting this channel on Patron. If you enjoyed this video, which was a rather long video that I put much scripting and editing to, and made a whole lot of mistakes in, consider supporting this channel on Patreon. There you can get early access to videos. If you like to get more with me, check out my Spotify where I have exclusive episodes every Friday. You can always get more info and news on my website, MatthewSchreiner.com. Most of my posting and social is done on Twitter at MatthewSchrine. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a rather interesting one. If you want to see more like this, please like and subscribe and comment as well. God bless and have a great week.